Previously on Kush and Kai.
And
Right.
Daniel LaRusso started the whole thing.
That was your woman that he took.
Strip mall karate has gotten incredibly sophisticated.
He is not doing karate.
Dirty hood rat shit.
You have to go.
Oh, big shit, yo.
Wait, Kush, let me ask you. What Cobra Kai character would you identify with?
My favorite character is Hawk.
For myself, I am a Dimitri.
I'm not into it. Fuck y'all. Fuck your moms.
Yeah, Louis showed up and destroyed the things.
Yeah, Louis came by and torched my car.
We haven't even gotten into it. Your life
Full
will be
on
hold.
gang warfare.
I fucking enjoyed every second of that thing.
Here's what we know is John Kreese is now in control of Cobra Kai once again. John Lawrence has walked off away from the sunset. Samantha LaRusso's in the hospital. Young Miguel, possibly paralyzed, best case scenario. Robbie is on the run from the law. He's absolutely going to jail for this.
Gosh, I'm looking forward to season 3. Well, hey everybody, welcome to Kush and Kai. I'm Kai.
I'm Kush, and I respectfully bow to you, Kai.
Oh. Well, we're entering the pod dojo. We've removed our shoes and we're ready to do combat and warning, just like the season 3. Only 15% of the martial arts is actually karate. You know how they put like violence and smoking and whatever? It should just be, you know, like if you're buying juice,
the
it's only
nutritional ingredients.
exactly. If it's only like part juice, they should have to list how much. In the same way, I'm watching it, and even in the dojo fights, it's like I don't know what I'm looking at, but it's not karate.
30% vitamin C, 15% karate, 12% jujitsu, 9% wrestling.
Yeah, riboflavin, and then there's a lot of grappling in this one too. They went to grapple school here.
It's Cobra Kai. It's season 3. We're a couple months into the premiere now, but what do we want to talk about first, Kai? Do we want to talk about the strength of the season as a whole? Do we want to talk about chemistry between actors? Do we want to talk fight scenes? What do we talk improvements? Do we want to talk about things that got worse?
I mean,
throw the
we got
dart,
so
my
many.
man.
We got so many angles here, and I mean, just off the top, I gotta say I was not as pleased with this one. Let me start
I
here.
agree. I agree off the top.
The only thing you can compare this season to is the first 2 seasons. And it sort of came down to me like this. Like, it's got all the characters and the flavors I liked from the first 2, but really the way they end it, this is just a setup season. This is like the Force Awakens of the series, if you will. We
fair.
reconstituted it, and it's everything you like, but we're not moving forward. We're kind of doing a lateral thing. We're getting a different approach on it. We'll try again from there. I mean, yeah, they played some of the greatest hits there. We got great.
There's a lot of formula in this season. Every episode, Johnny has to have a drunk scene. Every episode has to have a fight. Someone has to have a misunderstanding. Someone has to have self-reflection. It's literally beat by beat the same formula every week, and it's fine. I found the entire season very, very entertaining. I was never bored once. It is severely inferior to the first 2, even the first one by a lot.
Yeah. So in the first season, it was like, we're going to the All Valley. We're doing the All Valley. The All Valley's happening. And then the second one was karate violence is ravaging our community. The kids are running amok. And then it builds to a head to where it like fractures the community. And in this one, we just kind of go like, what are the greatest hits? Like, yeah, no, there's more karate violence. And you're like, okay.
There are things that are underdeveloped. There are things that are extremely rushed. There are things that just get completely overlooked. You were talking to me on the text messages a couple days ago, just like, so wait, they're suffering from bad PR, but the resolution to all this was he goes to Japan and he gets the contract back. Like,
yeah, the contract that they never lost.
Yeah.
And the public didn't know about it,
Yeah.
and the dealership was never sold. And so that's how it got repaired.
Yeah.
And for Lady LaRusso too, her part in this to make it better was to get a restraining order filed against her and then start swearing at a city council meeting in front of the public that the opinions she values so much.
Lady LaRusso still the strongest part of this whole series.
Fantastic.
They're using her in correct doses. You definitely still want to see more of her, but you're never getting oversaturated with her. Like I said in the previous season, her and her and Mala Russo have like a conflict, but then it's just settled off screen. They're just like, we made dinner, let's do this, you know.
I know they do. They go to their roots in some easy fixes here, and you're like, oh man,
That's okay, because I don't want to
transition
see
right
that bullshit. Like I don't want to see their resolution. I'm just like, okay, good. They're happy again. Fine.
That is true. That is true. Well, and then thankfully, because there are some little like corners cut here, I'm glad they don't delve more. They just sort of move on. Like
Robbie's trial that never happens should have been like a 3-episode arc on its own.
or
Like,
it's a scene, maybe.
Your Honor, I came up from a broken home. My mom's out whoring, and my dad's a fucking drunk. And these weird Italian people that live in a Japanese, they got koi fish, man. They've been raising me.
See, that would have been such a great some opportunity to do a good summation of
and
like
that girl likes the dude.
It's so bad. Which, by the way, I'm glad they didn't delve, because for Miguel, I had so many questions about like, so what kind of hotshot spinal surgeon came in to clean this thing up? It had to be from, was it a Jack from Lost level? You know what I mean? Like he's getting in there. He's a miracle worker.
They never get in on it. They just donations are being made to his account. The mom's already a nurse, so she gets a slight discount or whatever, and then just a specialist is coming in. That's all we get.
Bada bang. Yeah. So luckily they were just moving on there, which actually that helps us fuel back to, because at first I'm like, you wouldn't recover that fast. And Johnny's not a licensed PT guy, but I have to say that was my favorite thing about this season was Miguel and Johnny.
Miguel's arc is the strongest part of the series. Miguel's the strongest actor in this season.
He does circles around some of these folks. He's got great reactions and takes. Like,
dude, he does some great sells. Yeah, you feel his pain. Like, oh, you know, like when he's angry. I got to watch his first interaction with Tori again, and she's giving him the whole rap, and he just like rolls his eyes because just like I can't reach you right now. Like, bitch, I'm in a wheelchair and you're not seeing that. Like.
Great daggers from him. So you did nothing. That was your option. But the relationship, the Miguel and Johnny relationship, especially them capering, doing social media stuff, the ridiculous rehab montage.
It's silly. They got good comedy chemistry. It's fun.
Yeah. Dee Snider's concert for 47 people in a t-shirt printing factory was fantastic. By invitation only, through an alley, and there's a couple of guys like in windbreakers waving you down.
Well, so they're supposed to be walking through an alley, but they're clearly walking through the service tunnel of like a mini mall or like an industrial office building.
They emptied out the laundry machines for that zone, and then they put up a stage. Like, it was just, where is this, guys? But that was great. Dee Snider, always great energy too.
For sure.
Despite not any of those children knowing who that weird man is.
Well, I think Miguel's the only child in there. But yeah, like when he's like, ladies, I understand there's a Make-A-Wish kid in here tonight. Oh, there he is. Let's make that wish come true. And then they flash to the row of chicks. Like, those should have all been cougars for sure. Those were all like 20-something-year-olds.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, who? I'm not sure they're exactly gonna know. It's like, oh, he was on Celebrity Apprentice. Oh, I remember. And I could go, and along that point, it made me start to feel like I could go for just a Miguel and Johnny spinoff, you know, where they're like trying to take jobs to raise money to save a community center or something. And they always get into mischief, but they fix it by the end of the episode.
They fix it through karate.
Through karate and life lessons. But I feel like the writers also started to feel that way because they really just sort of shelved a bunch of shit. They're like, Robbie, we kind of got bored with that.
So there's nothing out there. I'm literally just speculating on this. I think Robbie's career took a big boost after season one and or 2. So there's a YouTube video out there that says all of Robbie's scenes in Cobra Kai 3, and it's like 6 minutes long. Okay. And I didn't check it out, but I was just like, that's probably accurate.
So Robbie for this season, he's not in it, but they took a soap opera watch, Kush. The prodigal son of kind of both of the co-mains has turned to the dark side now.
It was a very nice Empire Strikes Back moment where you're just like, oh, wow.
For sure. And I guess they just were coasting on like what we knew already. And it was like, yeah, I'm bad now because prison. And I don't like you anyway.
The few times he is in this season, you'll notice he has like a weird haircut every now and then.
Mhm.
He's in the middle of production for the She's All That reboot.
Awesome.
Um,
Get those
uh,
checks. Get
so
those checks,
so
Robbie.
that and the COVID and probably 2 or 3 other things. Again, his career took a boost after this series. That's why he's in so little of this season this year. At least that's what I'm
Gotcha.
speculating.
I would imagine. Although, I mean, aren't all those kids doing cool stuff now?
They are not.
No.
Him and the chick who played Tori, they're those two are working hard.
Mhm.
Miguel's got a nice resume, but he ain't got nothing on. Surprisingly, has nothing going on past Cobra Kai, anything. And then the chick who plays Samantha, nothing.
Wow, and Zolo has no other credits coming up.
No, which is a disappointment because again, he's the strongest part of this whole season.
I'm
And
surprised.
I think the writing didn't do him any favors. Like he's selling the hell out of it, but I'm not feeling any of it because again, there's a lot of his story is just rushed in places. He's back on his feet in school and doing basic karate again 7 weeks later.
7 weeks later.
So he gets paralyzed on the first day of school. Yep. And then for whatever reason, I guess the school went, fuck it. Everyone gets another 2 weeks off because they have day one again, like in episode 3 or 4. And like,
for sure,
for all we know, months have passed, but it's like only 2 weeks.
The timeline's real short.
Because he's still in his coma when classes restart. And Sam's going through her PTSD and she's like, I went to the first day and I couldn't handle it and I freaked out. I gotta say, her acting got much better, Samantha's.
I'll grant you that, but and look, they were really trying to focus on like, oh, there's trauma and self-reliance and this.
I was
and that.
feeling the trauma.
I saw it and I felt it, but it just for the timbre of the show was like, I checked my watch a couple of times, like how many scenes of her like looking sad or anxious, and then I don't know what to do, I froze up, and then. It's really solved. Yeah.
The scenes with her and like Lady LaRusso where she's explaining all that. Yeah, that's just filler and padding. But like her roles with Tori, those are also some of the best parts of the season. There's some good editing in it too. Like, so Sam is beating the shit out of some kid in the fun house. And then all of a sudden Tori's just like, LaRusso. And that bitch's eyes go white. Like her skin goes white. Like you see the veins in her, like she's petrified at this point. You're just like, oh shit, Tori's about to fuck shit up.
Good crazy face, and it's just because she thinks Sam stole Miguel. That's what's driving.
She kissed a boy, right? Because she kissed another boy,
and so she's at a psychotic, like murder level amount of force. Like it's a lot.
She plays a great villain, Tori. It's way, way, way over the top for what this scenario is. Again, these are high school students.
Yeah, you know? And that actually bothered me a little less. Like, oh, why is she acting so crazy? More than that, they've established she works 2 jobs and spends every day at a karate dojo and has time to go out and look great and also terrorize people. I'm like, I'm not counting up the minutes, people. The math on this one does not check out. I don't see how we're doing this.
Yeah, it doesn't help the fact that we get a couple episodes where like she's literally supporting the entire family. Like she's got the little brother she's hiding in the closet for whatever reason, and mom's on dialysis and she's making her a sandwich. And then the creepy service guy, is he the landlord or is he just the maintenance guy?
The fat guy that comes over for dinner that was in Borat?
No, I'm talking about the guy who harasses Tori that Kreese fucks up later.
Oh God, was that in the early part of the season?
Yes.
Oh, see, watched the first 2, took a break, and came back, and I'm like, oh, that one's not as front of mind.
Okay,
good times.
Tori's story is she did get arrested and was immediately put on probation because mom's on dialysis and there's a kid, right. And for some reason the law tolerated that, and therefore she's working 2 jobs, and then she's got the creepy handyman.
I mean, I like the intensity and I wanted to see the showdown, but it was that was a tease where it was like, oh, we fought to a standstill. See you next season. And she just jogs out the door. It was like, oh. And then Danny and Johnny do the same thing to Kreese. It was like, well, you've beaten me, but have you? And you're like, oh, great. And it's like, yeah, if you win, I'll leave town. It's like, how would they believe they've been doing is telling people to not trust him and
Fair.
his word.
That's fair.
So the internal logic is, why would they believe that at all? I mean,
They want to be good. Like that whole scene is Daniel's getting ready to murder him. And it's only because Sam shows up in time that he finally cools out. But like even Johnny's like, yeah, go ahead, man, do it. Like
do it. And that was a weird scene where it was like, fight to a semi standstill, another fight, semi. Oh, Robbie put his nose into his brain. I guess his legs twitching. I guess he's dead. Man, he went hard into that locker. What if Johnny Lawrence just ran after that? He just took off like, I killed him. That would have been quite a twist.
It wouldn't have been any different than anything Johnny's been doing the entire time.
He opens a dojo in Arizona. Like, well, I have a past I don't talk about. Oh, yeah, he takes Miguel with him. Oh, no, they have to plan a wedding, but he knocked out the best man, so he has to give a speech in front of 300 people. Yeah. And then Miguel pulls the microphone stand out so they can't hear him, and the wedding goes off great. See, look, these write themselves. Okay, Kush, let me tell you, one of my biggest irritations with this show got much worse this season. And I'll phrase it like this. Now, they've done this for every single scene because they love this shot where it's the establishing shot of the dojo. They usually cut to it when like Daniel will make a point about peace and balance, and then they'll cut over the other dojo with them going like, and you strike first and no mercy. Like they have their like list of tenets in the thing, their rules of the dojo so far. But they seem, because all of them seem to cut out the first rule, which is you never call the police. So they've cut this out of every speech. The students discipline. They give the kids discipline because clearly none of them are calling the cops and none of them are telling their parents about it. This is a Fight Club level blanket of secrecy here. No one's snitching. Nobody's
that one kid who gets robbed for the charity money by Cobra Kai, like the little Asian kid, like he's a wanted suspect still in that whole melee at the high school. So he can't go to the cops. Like they don't go into it. Yeah, well, but that's what I'm going with.
I think he's like a what? He's a small enough. He's like a C or D character.
Oh, for
I feel like he could have gone to pro, but you know what I mean? And look, the little Asian kid practicing karate, his parents weren't like, all right, we're going to the they trusted him to take the money. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's an okay standing.
He's the only one that gets to drop an F-bomb the whole season.
And you're telling me the Suzuki family isn't going like, our son was, they were marching right down to the police station right this second. And you saw that stack, that wad that was in that like zip case, like that was at least a few grand in there.
Say $1,000 bucks.
Yeah, a few $1,000.
$1,000.
That's
tens and 20s.
That's a felony in there.
For sure.
But still, it just
the money still does get turned over.
No, Johnny steals a statue from his stepdad's house, and he sells that. I thought that was
he does do that, but I also believe the Cobra Kai kids still got the money to the hospital anyways. Like, they're like, we'll let them know. We'll tell them Cobra Kai helped them out.
Oh, okay.
It seems like a weird thing to do. Just like you rob your enemy and still pay his rent.
Yeah. Wait, was there actually a scene with that?
No, but that's what Hawk says.
He says that. I must have missed that because I'm like, that just nothing totaled up.
He says in a very sinister thing, like, again, I punch you in the stomach, I pick your wallet, and I go, I'm going to pay your rent with this guy. And then I did.
Yeah. Woo! I was like, okay,
I could be way off base here, but that's where I'm stretching.
See, I missed that because that adds to the there's a glimmer of hope in Hawk.
Let's talk Hawk.
Hawk
has some interesting things that happen to him again. One of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he kills a boy on his first day at Cobra Kai. Kreese later says, I just finished cleaning the blood and they added out and removing the body from the dojo. It's next to some bodies of some Armenian gentlemen in the alley right now.
Well, it's that guy's alley, so no one's cleaning it out anyways.
No
It's
one's
like
going in there.
it's hiding in plain sight. It's a perfect
Sure.
crime.
He
Perfect
knows
crime.
waste management, people. This is not a thing. This is fine. So Hawk, a lot of felonies this season.
Definitely a lot of
We
felony.
maliciously broke somebody's arm.
Broke
we
Dimitri's
either-
arm. Should have crippled Dimitri even.
Crippled Dimitri. Yeah, it looked like, I mean, the bone, it's separated. He said actually what specific break it was, but even he, by the time, so 7 weeks into school, then more time, and then by Christmas, the cast is off. So he heals up.
Dimitri
Everyone
healed fast. Good PT for Dimitri. Like, he's even stronger than ever. Like, at the house melee, he's picking up the younger students, the Asian kid and the little blonde kid, and he's using them as weapons. Like,
yeah, and he goes full double dragon with Hawk too. They're doing the syncopated spin kicks together. I'm like, all right, get some.
So I'm most confused about Hawk's face turn. Hawk is murdering everybody that's not in his gang, and then all of a sudden he like has some sort of like weird breakdown and does Kreese's weird karate math. Who's like, everybody I walked into this house with, now I should kick their ass.
It didn't make a lot of sense, especially because they didn't do a lot of groundwork in terms of, getting a hook to have him go. The only line is like, don't trust him, he'll get in your head. And just sort of, there's a lot of like one-liners that people hang on to that go like, oh, I should realize that, without it actually narratively coming together.
Well, what's weird is he still takes Kreese's advice. Like, again, one of those weird voiceovers in his head is Kreese like laying down the karate math. He's like, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. And you're like, he sees Dimitri getting double teamed, and they even like say, it's your turn, bro, get a free hit in. And for whatever reason, he's like, now I got to kill those guys, and I got to make amends with this dude. And it still doesn't make any sense to me.
Nothing set it off. The writers got bored with a lot of the stuff they set up. Remember the Padre that Johnny drunkenly shows up at his church? If that guy tracks Robbie down because he sees he's falling in with a bad set now, and try to have a conversation with him, but Robbie blows him off. And then he talks to Hawk and has an interaction there. And so it kind of like he's trying to influence Robbie, but it hits Hawk. You know what I mean? Some other instrument there. Do you know what I mean?
That would have been good. That would have been good.
Like Robbie like goes to strike the priest, but then Hawk's like, whoa, man, what the fuck are you doing? Just give us a little more other than like, hey, look, I told you this one line. And then Samantha will remember it and be like, oh, wait, I can be brave. It was like, Daniel, you showed up, you took her fishing one time and took her to the All Valley. Oh, Dad, great. Oh, it's like going back to like, hey, I won the state championship on this field. It was like, do we have to go through this? We're doing this again. She hasn't heard this story before. It's never come up before. You're telling me this has never come up before.
And she rolls her eyes enough that it's come up several times. For whatever reason, for the sake of the story, now it clicks.
Yeah.
Or she can relate to it or whatever.
They sort of resolved the season into just the standstill where it's like, I guess we'll find out in the next one. Because it's like in the Samantha storyline and the Daniel and Johnny, it was like, well, we'll just let the villain walk away. It's a cliffhanger. And even Miguel's like, with a big stirring speech to save the All Valley. Kush, the All Valley, it was in danger. They were going to cancel because of karate violence, which makes a lot of sense. But in his big speech, his underlying message was, guys, there's no way to defeat bullying. That's kind of that's what he laid it down on.
It was good. It was a simple message. It's true. You just gotta work through it.
I was thinking about this because in the first season, we had one dojo. In the second season, we had 2 dojos. In the third season, we had 3 dojos. So there was a point at which I was worried that in the 4th season, we would have to have 4 dojos. By the internal math that they have proposed, the logic that they're following, they're going to add another dojo. There'll be another, like, at a left field dojo. There'll be a Farouche and Cousin Louie dojo.
No, I have a feeling we're going to see Terry Silver's dojo.
Hell yeah.
And or Bad Boy Mike Barnes dojo, and that would be your 4 dojos because Johnny's Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do, that's one dojo now. And we're gonna have a whole conflict about what do we name the new dojo for we got to have a team name. Like that's gonna be an episode.
Johnny being selectively stupid is still fun, and it was enough to make me enjoy Eagle Fang, but it looked. I mean, the logo looked a little too stupid. Like even he would be like, "Oh man, what the hell is that?" Like I don't think the character would have liked that. It looked too crazy.
He's a cartoon character though now. Like again, in season 1, he only betters himself the entire episode by episode, where to the point where he's like, "It's 9 a.m. time for my breakfast beer," and he's like, "Well, maybe I'll have orange juice this time and like actual eggs and hash browns."
He cleans up the garbage. He, makes amends with the person.
Again, now we're into season 3, and despite the fact that he's finally made it with Carmen, like he's still just drinking at 7 a.m. because it's the thing to do. He's always drunk every time. It's stupid cartoon levels.
Yeah, they slid backward a little bit.
Is that something you think they had to do because of season 2?
I think so.
Like season 1 is just a shot in the dark. Like all 10 episodes of that's a perfect companion piece for the Karate Kids series. Then it becomes just a TV show in season 2, and it's a fun TV show. But
yeah, it's very Disney teen-esque, and oh man, did they tone down the teen drinking in this, or the underage drinking in this one? There's only like 2 scenes. Like they crack a couple beers at one place when they're breaking into the. Oh, I'll talk about the zoo in a moment. Hold your zoo comments.
The zoo and the concert, yeah.
Zoo and the well, there's some in the concert, but. Yeah, no, then the
Samantha
other one's
talks about a keg is being delivered, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I know. Which never happens, but still, they weren't chugging
on that.
People were like chugging vodka, like they were chugging vodka in competition format, which was they like turn the volume down on that one a little bit. I got a note from Netflix going like, yeah, we could do it, but like not like that, do it. So I think one of the issues with having the 3 dojos, which was present of mine, which is again, as I said, like, oh, we're doing kind of a rehash thing, was we understand this is for defense karate. Oh, and this is, you got to strike hard. And then it was, no mercy. But, then you're the third, like, well, you got to be a badass. And so we're not really, when we got to the second, it was like, oh, these contrasting styles. It was a yin and a yang kind of a thing. And adding a third, it didn't really solve.
It just brought things out of balance, which is, again, a huge theme of the show.
For sure. But because at least you can base character things around like, oh, it brings out this kind of thing from this person, and then they switch or they change. With 3, it was just like kind of a mess because we're not learning anything about them anymore. They're just like, I'm loyal to you or I'm loyal to you. And then, they didn't use, the characters were just sort of, as we said before, like they're just doing the old bag of tricks there. So it didn't help. It was weird to see the 3 of them go and try and save the All Valley together. Because it was like
they just all 3 of them happened to be there. They didn't try and save it together. They said their piece, and then Miguel came in and saved the day.
Right. And it was funny because even Kreese, who was like, well, the enemy of my enemy is my enemy, is my friend. In that moment, the city council was their enemy. And he turned on the enemy that was turning on his enemy. Like, right. He was like, well, the Miyagi-Dos are terrible and they're bullies. It was like, you're really violating just sort of the one piece. If he'd followed through on that and been like clever about it, I would have given him so much more respect than being like, well, he's just throwing petty shade out there.
Well, he already had the restraining order against Lady LaRusso, but he could have brought up Johnny's, like, this man assaults children and has a criminal record for it.
Right.
So I'm surprised in that fashion they didn't do that.
Yeah. About that restraining order. I was like, finally, Lady LaRusso's going to go to the cops. And I thought she was going to bring up the key point, which is the students of that dojo attacked and brutally beat kids, from this, like, my kid and the other kids. Instead, she was there to see about a restraining order on Kreese, who had not been coming near her. So I don't know what the strategy was. It didn't make any sense. And then she didn't bring up the crimes that were perpetrated, which is the point of going to the police. That didn't make any sense. I did like the little fucking crazy making detail in here, which was, she's like, I like to follow a restraining order. And the cop goes to his computer. He's like, oh, let me just check this out here. Oh, wait, look at this. A restraining order has been filed against you. So, and then they chat for a bit more. And then like 2 seconds later, he goes, all right, well, if you would just sign this, that you've been served with papers. It's like, hold on, bud. You did not know, A, who this person was, and B, she had a restraining order, yet you have that single clipboard on your desk.
It's full of blanks. It's just, it's template.
You do not serve. You can't serve just a standard format. It needs to have your name on it and a court appearance date. Damn it. That drove me fucking nuts. Just like how I'm fascinated with the Ventura Zoo, which was invented for this, where they stole a snake from. And that was the Fernsworth, I think, Nature Learning Center in DeKalb County, because they shoot it in Georgia. And it's a planetarium, but it does have a reptile center that I saw.
Okay.
But the idea, again, because I love Hawk and all these details, one of the great things was they got into motorcycles this season. That was fun. Him zooming around on motorcycles. I did like that, actually.
They could have expanded more on that, actually, even just as filler.
Especially, here's something I love. Because he's seen several times. It's Hawk. You see his eyes. He's riding around. He's got the helmet on. Second later, helmet off. Mohawk, perfect. I don't know a lot about Mohawks, but they look pretty like, you got to spray them in, it takes some work. It feels like a motorcycle helmet. You'd have to stuff it. It'd be poking out like the eye hole parts. It looked like a parrot. It looked like you hit a parrot when you were driving, but I didn't understand that at all. So there's this kid that, he broke a kid's arm. He was involved in this fight. He did these other things. Super recognizable, right? Like you go to any of the local high schools and you just ask.
He's gone out of his way to stand out.
Do you know the kid with the mohawk? That's Hawk. They would immediately be. And so the zoo, which apparently has had multiple snakes stolen from it. There's the one that shows up in the LaRusso Auto Group, and they have no way of finding out because we saw in season 1 that a fancy camera system installed in the whole place. So that must be gone.
I got nothing for you on the camera thing. The one single snake in the auto dealership. There's no proof that was stolen from the zoo. It just shows up.
So you're saying it was a divine omen that a snake just appeared? It's just part of.
I didn't say it. It just appeared out of nowhere.
I would accept that more. I would accept that more than the snake got there. Well, no idea. No, it's like pull up camera 7, 3, and 1. Let's see who came through these doors. Like, and it's also to release a venomous snake in a place of business. Like, that's another, you can't do that. That's another crime. I understand that the kids can't talk to the cops, but Leila Russo also apparently doesn't know what to say to the cops. So we've got a problem there. So for Hawk, going into the zoo, and he doesn't look, we know he can get the motorcycle helmet on and off without it, but just cover that up, because that's, even if just one camera catches you, like, oh, there's this kid that's been linked to a string of felonies who could be easily identified. It seems like a big risk to go in there, and nothing is locked. The access to where you keep the venomous snakes, it's like, keep out.
Yeah, the biggest obstacle of that is you forgot the snake pole. How do you forget the snake pole?
And then also, I liked the fact that it was, they're in a place where they handle a lot of snakes. No one just did this. Oh, there's one. Like, what do you think they're doing in there? They just dumped it in one time, and they're like, ever touch them? Oh, yeah. Gosh.
So, they should have seen some gloves. They should have seen a snake pole on the wall or whatever. In the defense of the kids breaking in and making the theft, I actually know a dude who stole a penguin from the SF Zoo.
Wow.
That happened. And then, of course, there was that whole thing in the news where that was, I forget if it was Christmas Eve or the day after Christmas, but the guy who jumped the tiger pit after hours.
Oh, God.
And then the tiger got loose, so it was wandering the sunset for like a day and a half.
That's got to be exciting.
It was wild.
Maybe that's what they should have done in the early days of quarantine, just to get people to stay inside like tigers. Lots of tigers. They will kill you fucking dead. I would stay indoors, son. Oh, that would get my attention. God. Oh, another piece that I like for Robbie's turn to evil and his precious few speaking lines in this season is when he spends the night at Cobra Kai and he sleeps in just the, like where they
got the
keep
thinnest sleeping bag, like
the flats of sodas. He's on the cold, hard concrete ground, and he walks out to thank Kreese, and over his shoulder there's a stack of mats.
I saw that. I just saw that one before we started, and I cracked up because you were talking about that.
So that was a choice. It was like just
Robbie has to punish himself.
Exactly. This is penance. Just sleep on the concrete. That's where you sleep, right there. Can I have a mat? No. I just clean the blood off those.
That's his Judeo-Christian guilt.
That is something. God,
Let's talk reunions. What did you think about Daniel's trip to Japan?
It feels like they had to check a lot of boxes real quick, so we were hustling through some story here.
For sure.
And I didn't recognize the chick at all. The guy a little bit, but
the guy was chosen, and the chick was Kumiko from Karate Kid Part 2 as
sure.
She's now on, I think I want to say Star Trek Picard.
Hey, good for her.
Yeah, I guess it was a bigger gig than what she got in Cobra Kai 3 for sure. They needed to get Daniel to Japan, and that was the whole bullshit with the Toyota contract being up for grabs, despite there being just a PR thing with just.
So he had to go, and we had some good times there, and he learned the secret pressure point sauce maneuver.
I liked it.
That was cool. I liked that came back well. And then super convenient where it's like, oh, of course she runs Deanna, and then she already like knew what was happening, but she didn't shoot him a text message ahead of time, like, oh yeah, I can help with it. She was waiting for dramatic effect, Kai. Deal with it.
The chick from Toyota would have no reason to know Daniel was there, but because Kumiko was there and knew her, and again, that's the same chick from the bell tower in during the tsunami.
Courageous scene there.
It was a good scene. It's great music, It's just taiko drums going crazy, and the chick is wailing. Oh!
Yeah. I'm glad they laid off on, because again, it felt like in the first half of season 3, they had a lot more layered flashbacky with the movies cut-ins of just like stills and slow-mos. I was like, I got it. Just give me one tasteful slow-mo. Don't just do like the montage of them like floating over Daniel's face. But
they despite me wanting more from Okinawa, they just couldn't do anymore, and they just had to fill it up with here's a flashback. The taxi driver's boring, so let's just chop in some scenes from part 2. Here he is drinking some tea. Here he is sparring with Miyagi. Oh, there's the drum.
Yeah, there was just little fan servicey things. Like it just felt like we were checking boxes off a list. It was like, although Japan thing was fine, we were moving along. It was all right. Okay, so as long as we're in reunion corner,
gotta talk Allie, of course.
Big Allie Mills. Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
It was way better than I thought it was going to be. Like for the same reason I was getting worried about Kumiko's reunion, I thought they were going to force some bullshit love triangle, and if it wasn't going to be between Daniel and his wife and Allie and or Kumiko, it was going to be Johnny and Carmen and Allie. And they sidestepped all of that, and I'm incredibly grateful. Allie again, very very sparingly. What, 2 episodes?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was the Christmas doubleheader that she came in for. Which I gotta say, the first part of that Christmas episode, that was the lamest. I thought they just had the one part. And I'm like, that was the shittiest Christmas episode ever. Like we saw decorations, and then it was nothing. It just had nothing to do with it. But she was great, always delightful. Great moment on the sofa when she's there. We're like, is she gonna be in the next season? My wife said, oh yeah, I don't know. She must be getting a lot pulling down for this. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, she's a huge star now. I was like, what? She was in those Hunger Games movies. And I'm like, I don't think so. Google it. And so we looked it up and it was like, yes, it is actually Elizabeth Banks. But actually, this moment was made better because Hunger Games was not said right away. It was, she's in those movies. And I say, what? She goes, those movies where those kids are killing each other in the woods. And my first guess was Slender Man.
Oh, okay.
And she said, no, where there's like on a train.
On a train. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, we got there. Oh,
Fantastic.
Quite a ride.
So Elizabeth Shue she was on the first season of The Boys on Amazon Prime, and then did a little cameo or whatever in season 2.
She's been working. She's got a lot of stuff under her belt. I was perusing her IMDb. But yeah, I loved all of her stuff. Fun. And again, great. Okay. Bring Lady LaRusso into a dinner or a meal scene with a couple other folks. And it's like, she's making it happen. And then we get some freeform actual backstory stuff about relationshipy things with Daniel, which, how they broke up and how the other things happened. And then it was super feel good where we got the Merry Christmas Daniel, Merry Christmas Johnny, Merry Christmas LaRusso.
It was a fantastic scene.
That was good stuff.
It's definitely one of the stronger parts of the series, or at least the season.
Any other reunions? Oh, we hinted at another one. Kreese is calling his old buddy who owes him a favor.
Yeah, Terry Silver.
From the Tiger Cage.
So in Karate Kid Part 3, this is the millionaire who's dumping toxic waste with the ponytail.
Isn't he doing like UFC? Or no, he's doing kickboxing, right?
He's just megalomaniac. He's a rich guy, again, dealing in weird like toxic waste disposal shit. With all of his resources, hires this other dude called Bad Boy Mike Barnes.
Right.
And Mike Barnes is the one who's, I don't know why he's allowed to be in the tournament, but he's Daniel's biggest antagonist of Karate Kid 3.
So we're gonna rehash 3 in season.
Now we have to rehash 3
and 4, and then they're gonna it'll be Samantha in season 5 because it was the next Karate Kid, and then they'll be doing Kung Fu in the addendum 6th season.
Probably.
Yeah, that's how that was the order of the movies.
Do it. So Will Smith has been an executive producer on the entire series.
Exactly.
So I would not be surprised by that whatsoever.
So speaking of Ally Schwarber come back, or just Mills now, we lost the Schwarbs.
I hope she's not around for season 4.
I think that was great. You shot your shot right there. We got the boys back together. Perfect. And she steered smartly the developed character of Carmen, Miguel's mom, back right into the picture here. Carmen landed herself some sensei stick. This scene just went. I mean, they took another TV off the wall. A great running gag for a series.
That is.
TV's flying off
the
walls.
Flat screen in the living room was always falling off the wall, one reason or another, for something aggressive, super aggressive.
I was really hoping that, again, soap opera report, that she would be looking at a positive pregnancy test at the end of the season.
So we can still get that scene in season 4, but like so once they hooked up and then Allie made her contact, that's when I was really fearing that love triangle happening again. I was like, oh god damn it, guys.
I was worried.
Like we got 2 episodes left here. Let's not do this bullshit now. And even all the way up to when he's getting ready to knock on Carmen's door, like he's in the white tux, like he looks like a dude who's just been on a date. Like I'm expecting to be like, whose perfume is that? You bastard! I kill you!
Oh my god!
like I've never been so happy to see Miguel just like battered and bruised. Like, oh thank God.
We've seen Carmen just go. She has like the 2 gears of just like overjoyed to see Johnny and then horrified and scared.
I hate you. I cursed the day before.
Yeah. But luckily, this horrified was just because Miguel just had the shit kicked out of him. That was good. I'm glad the spinal patient from earlier, just a quarter ago, could take a savage like kidney beating, and he was good.
He took a couple shots on his back too. We're just like, oh no, he's gonna be in traction again.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some great stuff in there because we can keep getting Miguel and Johnny closer together as the All Valley comes. but then the discovery that he might be his dad. You know what I mean? No, I mean his stepdad or what would that be? Yeah, if they get together. Because look, if Johnny has a kid with Carmen, right? That'll be a step. Like he'll have a half. He'll have a half sibling.
For sure.
Anyway, I'm just saying.
I know how it works.
That could weird his head out before the All Valley. That's their level of like head conflict that they're working with.
He seems to dig Johnny a lot, so I think that's something he'd be like, "All right, yeah," but then that would just infuriate Robbie further. Like Robbie's in jail, getting the shit kicked out of him, and Johnny still leaves him behind. It just still bails on him. Like, I gotta go pray with Carmen and her mom.
And he hasn't spoken to Robbie more than like Robbie. Right? He's mostly said his name when he's around him, Robbie. But Robbie, like that's the word count is just Rob, like his name. Like
it was one of my biggest pet peeves of the first 2 seasons, where it was just like all of his interactions with Daniel, never 0.5% of the time he'd be like, "So how's my son doing? That's living with you currently?" Like that never came up. It's always just like, "Fuck you for kissing my girlfriend back in high school, and I hate you, and you're a stupid face." And
yeah, they selectively really choose what the characters are motivated in that way.
Johnny actually, he's just given up on Robbie altogether. Like he keeps having all these like, "Oh yeah, I wish I'd done more for my son," and blah 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 blah. But like he can still do more. Like,
I was really surprised that he stayed at the prayer circle.
Yes,
do you know what I mean? I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, I was just like, no, I my son is in jail right now. I have to go see him. Like anyone would have understood that, you know? Like, oh, okay, you gotta go see your son. Like that shit's, you can't just go down to the local jail at 4:54 p.m. and just go like, here to see Robbie. No, like,
right. No, especially because he needed his priest buddy.
Especially because he needed the priest, because Johnny's got his record for assaulting minors.
Yeah, that'll get you. Gosh, what other details in there? I feel like we hit a lot of the nooks and crannies. God, I gotta say, the Ventura Zoo sign was also like, okay, we need a big sign that says Ventura Zoo, but we can't spend a lot of money, so it just has to say that. Don't give us a fun like, don't work like a panda head into the O, or like give, you know how it's like through vines sometimes or something. It was just like white lettering with like this thin stroke around it. It was just the bare minimum that they put on the Science Center.
Well, the $1 billion a month company is on a budget. They decided to spend that money on the trip to Okinawa. It was fine. Don't worry.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to go over the roll call here, Kai. When I say a name, I want you to just say stronger or weaker. So like when I say Moon, she's only in half an episode, so weaker. You know?
Yeah.
So Moon.
Weaker.
Dimitri.
Ooh, weaker. He was snappier in season 2, but again, the subject matter didn't have as much to do with Dimitri. Yeah.
Ass face, cock breath,
penis breath. I'll give him a stronger here. He went through a little bit of character development.
Okay, his friend who has no name, but the large black guy.
Oh, okay. Great car wash scene where we got a big meaty nipple up on the window and some gut. I'm gonna go stronger. Yeah, he brought it. He was hamming it up there too. He's like, "You like that? Is this good? Hold on." He was really hamming it up on top of that car.
Stronger or weaker?
Stronger.
Okay, I gotta get that out, man. You
yeah.
All right, Hawk.
Stronger.
All right.
Hawk had some cool things in here, even if it was like, why did that happen? How come he's not in jail? I'm a Hawk fan too, so I'll say, yeah, stronger, I think.
Okay, Tori.
We went through more. See, I think, okay, I'll just say weaker, even though I think the character is strong. I think in season 2, we saw the evolution of what got her there and drove her nuts. And so then she we redlined it with her like scarring Samantha. And then she's just sort of like peaked here. Like we haven't gone up or down. She's just this like psychotic hard character. So I would say, yeah, I'd give it either a push. No, I'd say weaker because we saw she was doing more. She was engaging in a different way and soft, and there was a love thing. This was just like you're dealing with a psychopath now,
Mm.
which I guess is different. But no, it's more one note in that way.
I'm honestly surprised her and Hawk didn't become an item this season.
I swear, how come Hawk? Are they saving it up to? No, Hawk was going after the ladies, but no, he hasn't had anything like that to work with recently.
No, the whole wet the bed thing like just killed his game. So
Yeah.
he tried to pick up on those chicks first day of school part 2, and those chicks just clowned him hard. Like, oh yeah, didn't you wet your bed? Or you wet yourself? And that was before or after you got kicked into the trophy case by this skinny dude here.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean that too for both Hawk and again for Dimitri. That was some powerful shit that he was in on there.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good little bounce for him. Okay, yeah.
We never got into Dimitri's relationship with what's her nuts, Front Wedgie.
Yes, Front Wedgie. Front Wedgie's fine.
Front Wedgie's fine.
It was weird how she's like, I would never kiss this gross guy. It was like we just again, it's a cartoon. I got it.
Lady LaRusso, stronger, weaker.
I gotta go weaker, even though one of my favorites.
Daniel LaRusso, stronger, weaker.
Weaker.
Johnny Lawrence.
I gotta say season 1 was his strongest. Like that was the most compelling that he went through. So I'll go weaker.
I agree. And then Martin Cove, John Kreese.
I'll go stronger because he was still just crazy, but he was doing different. I mean, I like the beating up of of the maintenance guy. He killed 2 Armos in the dojo, and then he's rolling with his gang to the park. That a great park showdown scene. So I'll go stronger. I like that.
What did we think of Kreese's origin? We haven't brought that up at all. Like,
okay,
they sprinkled that out over the entire.
I forgot. I completely blocked that out, even though they spent a ton of time on it. Really shallow in sort of this arc. Like we knew exactly where this was sort of going, and it was just sort of like we were on a mission, and then there was this. It was like there were no hooks or twists in that fucking thing. It was just like he's gonna have to defeat this guy. Like they're gonna be in a situation. Things are hard, and you don't understand him. It was like I don't know, just painting with somebody else brought up like, well, veterans, there's quite a stigma for calling them, saying that they're psychotic or having trouble. And it was like, yeah, but is that what we're looking at? Like, isn't it possible he's just psychotic too? Like that's possible. Or he got in a car accident, severe head trauma, just like Gary Busey, never the same.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. One thing I got to say about that those Vietnam flashbacks, when they finally showed us the pit,
I was disappointed with the pit. It's
very disappointed because it looked kind of
it's just a pit full of snakes. Like you could.
There's no spikes or like
no
bodies
spikes
impaled, and I couldn't quite tell how deep it was because it was weird.
I figured it would be deep. I'd say like 9 feet.
No, but even then it's like, but okay, that wasn't my real problem. It was sort of like you could tell a lot of the sides of it were digitally rendered because sometimes it looked square, which was odd, and then the middle of it was a different color underneath.
The pit's rendered, the snakes are rendered, and then I guess are we supposed to imagine that the snakes just eat you? They're not pythons. It's a pit of cobras.
Or there's so many that you just sink into them like an Indiana Jones style trap of some sort. Like I can't tell exactly. It didn't look great. I wouldn't want to fall in the pit, but
absolutely not.
It looked like you'd probably survive.
You could probably stand on it, I imagine. Like I imagine, your ankles would get bitten, but the fatigues that they wore during the Vietnam conflict, like they were prepared for snake bites on the ankles. That's why your boots go so high.
I wish they would have thrown us a curve because it just felt like, well, you're gonna have to fight this guy. We know things are hard and whatever. If they just we think they're about to fight to the death, and then they just make Kreese watch while they sodomize the captain to death with like a broken mop handle or something. I don't know, but
too hard.
Okay, look, listen. I'm just trying to spice it up because I'm saying it was real. This is real draft one of hey, they were on a mission and they were captured and this. It's like I could have. Yeah, it just felt real. It was basic. Yeah, basic. All right, it was basic.
How do you compare it to the Dome and McBain?
Dome and McBain. Oh, that was fun. And that assault on the dome was better too.
Yeah.
Than the minor pyrotechnics they used to blow up a bamboo shack, and then confusingly, like
a jet shot a missile into a bamboo hut.
Yeah. It was a lot. Yeah, but at least McBain was like kick ass. Anyway, we're rooting for McBain.
You excited for season 4?
Oh yeah,
it's definitely coming.
I just wanted to ask you, do you have any predictions?
Prediction wise, I really got nothing. I think Terry Silver and Mike Barnes will be back.
Solid
Otherwise,
bits.
they really can do just anything. I'm hoping we don't see more Allie. We've already been to Okinawa. There's no reason to bring that up anymore.
Ooh,
I wish
yeah,
we had
please.
stayed there longer. So a lot of season 3 was, I know that wasn't the question, but a lot of season 3 made me want more. So I feel like that's a good thing.
Mhm.
But no predictions for season 4 other than just Mike Barnes and Terry Silver.
Yeah, that's a solid prediction. I think the only other thing that we are going to see is at the end of Rocky, we'll see Johnny and Danny fight each other. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's we're gonna see
There's
that.
Gonna be a King of the Mountain thing. Like, who's really in charge of this dojo here? Yeah,
For sure.
They have to do that again. It goes to the whole, what are we gonna name this thing? We can't name it Miyagi Cobra or Miyagi Fang.
I'm trying to think of other shared, like
I can totally see them doing the pregnancy angle for a cliffhanger.
That'd be great.
The All Valley tournament happens, whether they win, whether they lose, whatever. But like, she's holding that fucking pregnancy test with the plus.
Oh yeah, she's telling. Oh, perfect. She's in Spanish telling the grandma what she's looking at.
Why not?
Yeah, I think that's what you do. And okay, so then the last thing would be last prediction: winner of the All Valley.
So it's going to be Robbie, the new antagonist, probably versus Miguel, and can't be Sam. Sam's getting axed real quickly. Who's taking her? Is it going to be just Hawk?
Is it going to be Hawk? Could be Hawk, because
Hawk and Miguel, the final 4 of the tournament.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to give it to Samantha.
That would be such bullshit. Like, so I complimented her acting at the beginning of the series, but her choreography and her stance and her stunt double, they are all awkward in this. Maybe that's supposed to be the point, but it's the worst fighting.
It's not compelling. Like this, it's a little clumsy. They're trying, they are. And look, it's hard to use a bow staff. Like, you really got to train for a few years to get that to look natural.
Not even the weapon stuff, just the regular basic stuff.
I still think that it's going to be her, because there's no way that we've delayed so much groundwork for it not to be Tori. So I don't think we're going to lean there. And I feel like Robbie is also out too. He's been written out. I feel like it might have been Robbie at some point, but Miguel, they could do a 2-time champ from different dojos kind of a thing. And especially because they were laying also some more track for Miguel and Daniel to get close, I think. So we'll see there. But I think my pick is Samantha. If I had to pick one, it would be
Samantha's going to win, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Pencil me in.
I don't know who's going to win the tournament. I just think I just have my final 4. It's going to be Robbie, Miguel, unknown antagonist, and Hawk.
If you had to pick 2, I think you should just pick Hawk. That's a great, because if he's come over to the good side, I think there could be a redemptive thing in there. Oh, he's going to the All Valley, but then he gets, so one of those felonies catches up with him, and he gets DQ'd.
I mean, that's always hanging over him, so that could happen.
That could happen. Anyway, cool. Well, that is it on my list of notorinis. Do you have any other deets?
No, I don't. Overall opinions?
I'm so glad that you were like, come on, Kai, just fucking knock out the end of this shit here.
Quick burn, dude. I ended up watching it twice in 2 days. And
wow.
Like, what do I do now? I don't know.
There you go.
I would like to watch more.
I've got it. No, my viewing schedule is sort of like, we got to commit to like a show or 2, and then I don't know, but still I did get through, and I'm glad I did, just to see the trajectory of how these are going. And it's also fascinating because it is, of remakes that have happened, or not remakes, but like, when they age up the generations of the characters, like it is interesting to see the choices that they're making because other shows are doing and trying, that are trying this. All the IP is coming back based around like, what if they're
and
older?
other shows have tried this and failed hard.
For sure.
Like this is a surprise. I didn't want to like this show. In fact, most of the reasons why I didn't want to like this show popped up in this season. Again, I was just like, okay, I get the joke. He's a fucking drunk loser. Like, but again, over season 1, they were just like, now he's making himself better. But then we made it a cartoon again come season 3.
For sure. Well, good stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I'm looking forward to season 4. Do we want to do a season 4?
Us?
Yes, you and me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, we don't
know when
have
that's
to.
coming out. We have any deets?
Next year.
Next year
TBD.
Like so many things. Speaking of which, did that Ghostbusters movie come out?
No, it was supposed to.
I thought it just came and went. I was like, oh, okay.
No, it would have. Well, that would have happened summer 2020, but it didn't even get that opportunity. So it's still looming.
That is so weird. Yeah, just the smoke screen. Because your normal reaction when you're like, oh yeah, they shelved that thing for like 3-4 years. You're like, but now it's like they had to survive, and it shook out all the shit that was hiding that had been shelved. There was a lot of pushed out to on-demand services.
Did you end up seeing Wonder Woman 84 yet?
No, I did not see that.
It's not important that you do. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I was relieved that they didn't rely a lot on the 80s nostalgia, which is weird because 1984 is in the title, but like there's more 80s nostalgia in Cobra Kai 3 than in all of the 80s. Like it doesn't make sense why it's in the 80s. There's nothing
Did
like
they use a lot of 80s songs or anything?
No, they use no 80s songs, which is like you would think like this is a whole soundtrack of just like, some Oingo Boingo and some fucking Devo. No.
Netflix laid down more money in that finale. They rang some 80s songs in there. I'm like, yes, you needed to do this. All right. Well, I'd love to be back sometime soon, Kush. So let's pot it up. I'm looking for season 4. And I want to talk WandaVision soon.
Yeah, man. Maybe we'll talk some WandaVision. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. Do you have any plugs, Kai? Do you want to tell someone to watch a previous Kush and Kai episode?
Paul Walker is Italian dad.
Oh, yeah. Running Scared.
Running
episode
Scared.
25 with Bobby Head.
Man, I miss Bobby Head. That was good times. Oh, and Star Trek. Oh, my God. That was fantastic.
Star Trek Into Darkness.
That was
Jamil Hemphill.
Oh, those were some fun times back at
Nice.
Studio 1330.
Speaking of Jamil Hemphill, by the time this episode drops, you should already be familiar with Sweet Science Cinema. We will have talked Creed, aka Rocky 7, aka Rocky 4 Part 2. And we will have already talked The Great White Hype. So tune in for episode 3. Don't know what that'll be just yet. Otherwise, me and Len Kabazinski do a series,
The Kick-Ass Movie Podcast.
You can currently listen to our episode of King of the Kickboxers.
Woo!
We'll have an interview with the actual writer-producer. And
Cool.
that should be really, really cool. Otherwise, check out the Microdose. That's on the Bosnet.family. iTunes, Stitcher, all the platforms that you know and love. And that's what I got right now.
All right. Then I guess I just got to say rock on, Kush.
And I have to reply, rock on, Kai.
From the Bosnet family.
You can't see it, but I'm doing the
I can see
the
it.
arm wiggle. Well,
I can see
the
it.
listeners can't see it.
Oh. We're on. They'll never see this shit. They don't know what's going on back here.